Good. So who is Vintage?
All right, so I'm a soca artist hailing from the county of Berbice, but I grew up in the beautiful island of Antigua and Barbuda. That's where I started my journey in soca music, but I didn't started singing as yet until I migrated back to my country. But I've got my inspiration, when I was living in Antigua and Barbuda.
Okay. So how long have you been involved in this whole musical journey as a soca artist?
All right, so for me, basically, I would say from 2019 until now, because 2019 is when I made my first appearance on stage. That has been the Carib Soca Monarch, which took place at National Park back in 2019, and of course, I did really well.
You won?
I got third position.
Yeah, that's good. And they gave bread.
Yes.
All right, good. All right, so for those of us who might not be as familiar with Vintage, the soca artist, can you give us a favorite song of yours that you've recorded or written?
All right, so my favorite song it is called "Give Me My Space," which I did last year, and it's actually one of the most trending soca music until now in Guyana, and overseas. So it go like this: Give me my space, oh na na. So when you see them, tell them, say, give me my space, oh Lord. That's it.
I know the tune, and I'm honored to meet the guy that sang the tune.
Oh really?
I know the tune.
Bless it.
Yourself, you know what I mean? All right, Vintage. So who has inspired you musically speaking? We know that Antigua and everything like influenced your journey into this musical thing, but who is the reason behind Vintage taking this step?
All right, so for me, basically, I would say I really take pattern a lot from a Trinidad soca artist by the name of Voice, and from time to time I've been looking at him, and his first appearance as well at the ISM, which is the International Soca Monarch in Trinidad, and I listened to the type of music that he sing more so because I'm a person, I came up from church, so my thing is I want to do soca music that would influence people positively, have a positive impact on people, and that is basically what Voice do. So I got most of my inspiration from him.
All right, cool. All right, so at this point we got like some rapid fire questions, okay?
Sure.
So we're gonna ask you some unrelated stuff to music, but you could still like
Yeah, sure,
tie
no
it into your
problem.
music. If Vintage woke up with $1 billion in his bank account, what would Vintage do next?
Trust me, I would start building my own place.
Your own place, meaning
Yes,
your house, your
my
studio,
own house.
your...
My own house.
Alright,
Yes.
cool. Alright, see I hear Vintage need $1 billion, $1 billion. So start streaming that shit.
Yep.
Go insane
Yep.
on it. You know what I mean? Alright, next rapid fire question. Vintage, you trapped on an island, alright? You only got 3 albums to listen. Okay, Vintage, you trapped on an island. You only got 3 albums to take with you or to listen. What are those 3 albums that's gonna keep Vintage sane for the time being until some people come and rescue you off this album? Off this island?
Trust me,
If it's hard for you to come up with albums, give me 3 artists that can keep you sane until you get rescued from this island.
all right. I would listen to Bob Marley. I would listen to what a guy named that got free from prison, not Cartel.
Buju?
No. Yeah, Buju Banton.
Mhm.
And I'd listen to R. Kelly.
Alright, cool. Kelly?
Yeah.
Vintage?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's no. The thing is, it's all about the music.
It's all about the
And as I
music.
said, right, I'm a person, right? I'm all about positivity, and his music, it also inspires you a
But
lot.
Vintage, if we listen to R. Kelly music, his music is a lot of the reasons why he got locked up too. So I really have to start with telling him about positivity. That nigga said,
But at the
I'm
end of
gonna
the day,
piss on you.
The reason why I said that, because you're trapped on an island, and why I said R. Kelly, he mentioned is one of his songs. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
All right. There's a good
Yes.
recovery. Big up
Right.
yourself. All right. So yeah, don't go and me too, me buy vintage. You understand? All right, vintage. Back to the creative thing. Give me one piece of advice that you'd give to fellow creatives in your genre of music.
All right. One thing I would want to encourage young soca artists, is to focus more on your surroundings, what people like. But then again, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're capable of. You have to keep working and try not to what should I say? Try not to do things just for the people around you. You got to think far. You got to look. You got to look at outside, because we know in Guyana people love comic, or gimmicks, I should say. So that's one thing. I would never try to do gimmicks just for publicity, likes, followers, or anything. I do me and let people accept me for who I am, and it will happen.
Hard ball. All right, Vintage, just before we wrap things up, can I ask you, do you have any regrets, creatively speaking, on this journey? Do you think there's anything that you would have taken back that might have hindered your ascension in this whole industry or anything?
Actually, I would say no, because every failure that I had, within my musical journey, it's a learning process for me. And if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have been able to learn. All right. So I wouldn't take back anything.
All right, y'all hear though? Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the reason why they exist. If you
Right.
don't make them, how you gonna know it's a mistake? All right. And to wrap things up, Vintage, we got Soca Monarch coming up, so I'm assuming that you can be in the Soca Monarch.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely,
And we-
definitely. I mean, being a soca artist, why stay out to Soca Monarch?
All right, good. But outside of that, what is next for Vintage Soca artists?
Well, I tell you what. Sometimes people would say, "Oh, a lot of these soca artists are just Soca Monarch artists," but I can speak of myself, right? Even after Soca Monarch, I still do a lot of shows, in Georgetown, out of Georgetown, all around Guyana. So I'm an out there artist, so you can expect big music, a lot of work from me.
All right, cool. One more thing I want to ask: why the name Vintage? That's completely not on my list of questions here. But
Okay, so
tell me why.
I don't know if you know one Cornell Paul. He's a TikToker. Do you know him, Cornell Paul?
Colonel
He's a
Paul.
police and a famous
Oh, okay,
TikToker.
yeah.
Taylor Quave.
Yeah. I
All
know
right,
you're
so
talking about it.
Taylor Quave. I was a police, yeah. So Taylor Quave and I were working together, and he was saying you need an artist name. You need to come up with something. And he said, name Vintage. I said, what do you mean? He said, he don't know, and he starts skinny teeth. So, so that is how I just left with the name. We didn't even check the meaning, but when I did check the meaning, it has two meanings. One which is something of old, and another is something which is of an high quality, right? So I just stick with it.
Yeah.
And for those who listening, it's not spelled as Vintage, it's Vintayge. So
Good
if you're
thing.
searching for me, put in the Y.
All right, y'all hear though. It's good thing you tell me that too, because I spelling it how I know if you spell it when I put up this episode. All right.
Right.
But thank you for talking to us, Vintage. Is there anything you want to leave with the audience before you go?
Yeah. One thing I want to say, for 2025 and the years coming, and for Soca Monarch, and for Mash, and for Carnival, expect big music, because we got no worries unless we make a memory. So give me my space. I'm out.
And Aaron.